This episode is brought to you by Sterling Soap Company. How often do you think about your soap? Well, if you answered, not much, maybe you should. You see, a lot of what passes for soap in stores is technically not soap, according to the FDA's definition. It's full of lab-created chemicals and detergents because, well, it's cheaper to make. Now, what if you could buy natural soap made from natural ingredients like tallow, palm oil, coconut oil, and scented with essential oils, and for just a little more than you'd pay for grocery store soap? Sterling Soap is 100% natural, and with a wide variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, and cologne, there's a product and a scent for just about everybody. Check them out for yourself at sterlingsoap.com. That's STIRLING soap.com.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Darren Hayes, host of the Pigskin Dispatch and Jersey Dispatch podcast. I hope you've enjoyed another great episode here on Sports History Network. Now, speaking of sports history, this episode was brought to you by Firefly Books, and they have two great ones for you this summer. For basketball fans, they have the NBA 75, the definitive history by author Dave Zarum, who's appeared on our Jersey Dispatch podcast recently. He tells about the experience, the thrilling journey of the NBA, from its humble beginnings to its modern glory. Uncover the untold stories of triumph, controversy, and the greatest stars of the game. This isn't just a book. It's courtside seats to over 75 years of NBA history. And for the golf enthusiasts, swing into The Golf Round I'll Never Forget by Matt Adams. Relive 50 of golf's most memorable moments through the eyes of the legends themselves. From Garcia's triumph at the 2017 Masters to Nicklaus' miraculous 1986 comeback, it's the closest you'll get to walking the fairways with golf's greatest. Get your summer read on. Grab a copy of NBA 75 or The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, available online or at your favorite bookstore.
This is Basketball History 101 with Rick Loayza.
Welcome back to Award-winning Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network. I am your host, Rick Loayza, and this is the podcast where we bring to life some of the forgotten stories from basketball history. We are bringing old school basketball to a new school audience, and today we bring you the continuing story of Jerry West. Not only was he one of the greatest players in NBA history, he is arguably the greatest team executive in NBA history. Now, as I mentioned in last week's episode, between his time as a player and an executive, he went to the NBA Finals 23 times. 23 times. The next closest is Red Auerbach, who went to the NBA Finals 19 times as a coach or executive. In last week's episode, we shared the story of West's upbringing in West Virginia and the torment he experienced as a kid who never felt loved by his parents. His parents even told him that he would never amount to anything. Now that put a chip on his shoulder that drove him to the highest levels of success as a basketball player. He led his high school to the West Virginia State Championship. He then moved on to the University of West Virginia, where he led the team to the national championship game, but lost by a single point. This was the beginning of a string of losses at the championship level. But he was then taken with the second pick in the 1960 NBA draft, where he joined Elgin Baylor and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers. For the Lakers, it was their first season in LA, as they had just relocated from Minneapolis. They were the toast of the town and were able to draw a solid fan base quickly. His first coach in the NBA was actually his old coach. Fred Schaus was his coach at the University of West Virginia and then became the coach of the Lakers the same summer that Jerry West was drafted. In essence, they moved together from school to the pros, and joining them as a free agent was West's old teammate, Hot Rod Hundley. This was like a West Virginia reunion, but in LA. And it was clearly Elgin Baylor's show with the Lakers. He led the team at nearly 35 points per game, and West was second on the team with 17 points per game. But West was often frustrated because Schaus would bring him off the bench so as not to put too much pressure on a rookie. But West was more than ready for the pressures of the NBA and wanted to play as much as possible. But when I looked up the statistics for the season, I found that despite not always starting, West was second on the team in minutes played, right behind Baylor. So West was, in fact, playing more minutes than anyone on the team, except Baylor, who was again the established superstar on the team. Now, despite whatever frustrations West might have felt, he was still voted in as an all-star during his rookie year. West is one of only a small handful of players who was selected to be an all-star in every season of their career. During his second season, West was able to raise his scoring average to nearly 31 points per game, just behind Baylor at 38 points per game. Now, think about that for a moment. When was the last time you heard of a team with two players averaging over 30 points per game? They had an incredible chemistry on the court as they played off each other so well. Baylor loved taking it to the hole for a dunk or a close layup, and West was a sharpshooter from the outside. And in that second year, they went all the way to the NBA Finals, but lost to the mighty Boston Celtics, and it was torment for West. Just like when he lost the championship game in college, he continued to replay the 1962 NBA Finals in his head, trying to figure out what more he could have done to help his team win the championship. He would lose sleep over it. In 1963, the Lakers went back to the finals and lost to the Celtics again. In 1965, they lost a third time to the Celtics, and again in 1966 and 1968. In just 8 years in the NBA, Jerry West had been to the finals 5 times, and they lost to the Boston Celtics every single time. But in the summer of 1968, something incredible happened. The Lakers were able to make a trade that brought them Wilt Chamberlain, the only man in the league who had a chance of neutralizing Bill Russell. Surely, the Lakers now had a real chance of winning the whole thing. And while all of this was happening, West was continuing to prove himself as one of the greatest scorers who ever laced them up. He was an incredible perimeter defender and kept racking up individual honors. Nobody doubted that he wasn't a great player, but it seemed that something always went wrong in the finals, and the Celtics always walked away with the trophy. The torment got bigger and bigger for him. He needed to prove to the world that he was worthy of love and affection. He played with an obsession to prove that he was somebody. The thought of his parents telling him that he would never amount to anything would be proved wrong if he could just win a championship. In Jerry West's mind, it was as if some mystical force was preventing him from winning it all, like it was just fate that he would come so close but never win the elusive ring. By his own admission, he was not pleasant to be around at home. A dark cloud would settle over him, and his wife and kids knew that the best thing that they could do was to leave him alone to work out his anger or depression depending on the day. And I honestly feel for the guy. No one deserves to go through life thinking that they are worthless. But with Wilt Chamberlain joining the team, well, now things were looking up for the Lakers. The team went on a tear with Chamberlain there, and they returned easily to the NBA Finals to face an aging Celtics team. The Celtics had a mediocre record that year and just barely made it into the playoffs. But that old Celtics mystique was activated, and the Celtics found the fountain of youth and made their way into the finals. But for the first time in all the times that the Celtics and Lakers had played each other in the finals, this time the Lakers had home court advantage. To make a long story short, the series went all the way to Game 7 in Los Angeles. This was the time to make things happen. West had been scoring like a madman all series long. He finished that NBA Finals in 1969 with a scoring average of 44 points per game for the 7 games of the series. He was absolutely unstoppable game after game. Nothing that the Celtics did could keep West from scoring. And West had set in his mind that he would do absolutely everything in his power to win that series. He was not going to walk away from the series feeling like there was anything left that he had not done to help his team win. Game 7 was a very close game near the end. Sam Jones of the Celtics had fouled out, which was incredible for the Lakers, but soon after, Wilt Chamberlain came up limping and grabbing his knee. He asked to sub out with a close score and less than 5 minutes to play. In a Game 7, Wilt never returned to the game, which is a story all its own, and the Celtics were able to win a very close game by a score of 108 to 106. For the Lakers, that was a 2-point loss, It was a single basket. The team played 82 regular season games plus 18 playoff games. That is 100 total games for the season. That's thousands of possessions and thousands of shots, and the entire championship came down to literally falling just one basket short. Jerry West was 14 for 29 from the field that night, meaning he had missed 15 shots. If even just one of those missed shots had gone in, then maybe the Lakers go to overtime with a chance to win a championship. These are the kinds of thoughts that kept West in torture for the entire summer. Just one more basket. Just one more basket. But the larger context was that West had now lost to the Celtics 6 times in the NBA Finals. And for his efforts in leading all scorers by a wide margin, Jerry West is still the only player in NBA history to win Finals MVP while playing for the losing team. He could not have cared less about the award or the car that came with it. To him, the car symbolized a losing effort. Things had gotten so bad for him mentally that he threatened to retire because of the emotional pain. He worked so hard and losing was getting to be too much to handle. And it was a factor in his marriage falling apart. Now, I want to be clear about one thing. I am not saying that West was not a kind and generous man. He definitely was. The people that were close to him will stand by him in that regard. He was incredibly generous and kind to his friends, and a lot of fun to be around when times were good. But when he got into a fit of anger or depression, he needed to be by himself. Later in the summer of 1969, Bill Russell announced his retirement. Well, that opened things up for the entire league. There had to be a new champion now. The Lakers still boasted a lineup of West, Baylor, and Chamberlain. And the Lakers went back to the finals again in 1970, where they faced the up-and-coming New York Knicks. Well, the Lakers lost that one in 7 games as well. West had now been to the finals 7 times and lost all of them. The torture was just too much. As much as he loved the game of basketball and gave himself to the game of basketball, there were also aspects of it that he hated. He loved this game so much, but often the game was cruel to him in return. It would be 2 more years before the Lakers went back to the finals in 1972, but finally, things had turned around for them. That was the year that they won 33 games in a row and set an NBA record by winning 69 regular season games. They steamrolled everybody on their way to the NBA Finals. And in the finals, they faced the New York Knicks again. But this time, they easily defeated them 4-1. Finally, West had won the NBA championship on his 8th try. He finally won the trophy. Even he recalls the feeling he had. It was not of joy at all, but rather it was a feeling of relief. He finally won the championship. He had finally accomplished something that might be cause for people to truly love him. He had spent 12 years fighting for this one thing, and finally it was his. Now, the thing that really bothered him as an adult was that it was not until he had become famous and wealthy that his parents began to show any sort of affection, and he knew it was false. He knew that the only reason for the change in the attitude of his parents was because that would allow them to walk around telling people that they were the parents of the great Jerry West. Winning the championship in 1972 did not cure his anger or his depression. He was still the same tortured man. Now he was wondering if anyone could truly love him for him. Not for his money, not for his fame, not for his accomplishments, just for him. West went to the NBA Finals one last time as a player in 1973, where the Lakers lost to the Knicks, and that made 9 total trips to the finals, but only 1 championship. And for that, he is called Mr. Clutch, and he is still the silhouette on the NBA logo. He played only 1 more year and then retired as a player in 1974, and he soon met his second wife and then had to figure out what to do with himself now that his playing days were over. 1,000 opportunities were open to him. He just had to figure out which one to take. One of the toughest decisions that any athlete has to make is deciding what to do after their playing days are over, and that is what we will get into next week with Jerry West. Well, that wraps it up for this episode. Join us next week when we conclude the story of Jerry West by sharing his career as a team executive and the massive success he found in building basketball teams. That's next time on Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network, the headquarters of Sports Yesteryear. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com to find out more about this and other sports history podcasts. If you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. And check out our page on Facebook. It's called Basketball History 101 Podcast. There you will find shorter historical posts, and I'll also announce there when new episodes come out. I want to thank my producer and editor, Jacob Loayza. Join us each week as we continue to mine the history of basketball for more great stories from the past. Take care, and see you soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
The Sports History Network, where legends live on and the past plays loud. Welcome to the place where history's proud, from gridiron glory to the hardwood stars, from the racetrack heat to Olympic bars. It's the voices, the stories, the moments you miss, told by fans and pros who live for this. Hook and Themic, the Sports History Network, where the past comes alive. Podcasts and blogs that keep the flame high, from Babe to Brady, Alley to the Dome. If it's history and sports, then this is the home. SportsHistoryNetwork.com, the headquarters of sports yesteryear.